Hello, Cam followers. It's Thursday, it's 7 o'clock, and this is the lovely Jane Davidson. I am very, very excited, and I'm very, very happy to have her here tonight because Jane is an amazing vet nurse. I've met her on a number of occasions at different conferences, and she is busy. She is so busy. She has got fingers in so many pies, but she still retains this absolute love for being a vet nurse. She's an absolute champion of vet nursing, and that's why she's here, because she's going to be talking to you, the owners, a lot from a vet nurse perspective, what vet nurses can do for you, so therefore what the whole practice can do for you as an owner, because there's a real tendency for owners to come and look for the white coats, come and look for the vets, when actually you're missing a trick, a massive trick, because there is a whole support system behind that vet who can do amazing stuff. So Jane, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to crack on.
Lovely. So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, I'm Jane, I'm a vet nurse. I kind of came into vet nursing a bit later in life, and I think that's been really beneficial. I've worked in charity and private practices and lots of 24-hour hospitals, so lots of emergencies left, right and centre. And sometimes arthritis is an emergency. I know lots of people just think, oh, it's arthritis, but actually we do see these as emergencies, and 9 times out of 10 they're preventable. We could save you money and stop you going to do a late night vet trip. I love geriatric pets. That's what I choose for myself. But I know that when I take them on, one of the hurdles I'm going to face is joint problems. And in fact, I'll introduce you now to Ebony before I put her down for a
Introduce us to Ebony.
For a nappy nap now.
That's Ebony.
That's Ebony. So Ebony will be 14 in April. I've had her a year. She's a Pekingese, so they are more prone to joint problems. But at 14, we'd expect her to be having some level of arthritis. So she's already on painkillers. We're starting acupuncture next week. I've done that for other pets, so we'll talk about that as we go through. And I've done hydro for my pets as well, and physio. So if you have any questions on those kind of therapies, do let us know in the comment section.
Definitely.
And I really think that often the value you get from your vet clinic is a passing comment to the receptionist, to the nurse. You've been to see the vet for the big title, the headline that you've turned up for, and actually then outside you go, oh, he didn't want to walk yesterday. He had a bit of a slip on the wood flooring. Oh, he's choosing to sleep in this bed, not that bed. And those are your changes you've noted, and that as an owner, that's all we ever want you to do is really note a change and tell us. But sometimes you don't think that's the headline, and actually they're all things very much worth reporting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's I'm just do a little big up. Cam will come into practices and teach the whole team. So one of the things that Cam does, exactly what
Jane, for Ebony, not for me.
I hope you're not eating them. We'll come into your practice and we train reception, nurses, and vets, and bring the team together, because it's not a disease that is just for the vet to manage. It's the whole team. You receptionists take the phone calls, you see them come out the car, you see them get up from laying down in the waiting room. You see it first. You hear about it first, and you should be flagging it up.
Exactly.
And so we decided we were going to go there first. We were going to go for identification, really hit it hard at the beginning of this, and then we were going to move on from there. And you came up with something that you really wanted people to know about, and we're going to branch from that. What was it?
I can't remember which one it was.
Head bobbing.
Oh, yes. It's a bit harder in Pekingese, but for your dog. So we know that if you think that your dog is lame, one of the things you try and do is watch them to see if you can find out which leg it is, because then you can have a bit of a feel, or is it something caught in the pad, or you can do a bit of diagnosis yourself, which we're absolutely fine with. But obviously your brain tells you that the way to work out which leg is lame is by watching the legs. And actually with a four-legged animal, that's quite complex. What you can find is, and what we would do on a clinical exam is, when we watch the dog walking, we'll watch the legs, because we want to watch the gait, so where the hips sitting and where the shoulders are sitting. But to find out which leg they're lame on, we'll watch their head, because the leg that they're lame on, their head will bob down, and usually quite markedly, once you've pointed it out to owners, usually they're like, oh yeah, that's huge. But because you're busy watching the legs, you don't notice. Yes. So it's that little head bob, because then it means, you could maybe try and work something out yourself. It might be something caught in a pad, or it might be an overgrown nail or something like that. But if you kind of troubleshot that yourself, then that's when you go to
and I think that's something that I think we would like to expand on, is that how can you, the owner, go to the vet more equipped? And I think trying to work out where an animal is potentially lame can be very hard, and we struggle. You know, there's been studies looking at how accurate detecting lameness is amongst specialist orthopedic surgeon compared to average vet, compared to vet student. And believe it or not, the vet student scored the highest, because lameness examinations, like observation, is very difficult. So video it. So one of the first things that we were talking about was, how can we help you go to the vet with the early signs of, I've got a problem? Take a video. We all have smartphones now. But let's expand and talk about other things that you, in your career and in my career. So how long have you been a nurse?
15 years now.
15. I totally blow you out of the water. 19, vet, 19. I've got pigtails today just to try and get youth. Anyway, so in the collective 34 years that we have been in this industry, we're going to run through things that we see regularly and we think, oh my God, I wish they had known. If only they knew this and came sooner. So I'm going to lead difficulties getting up and laying down. And you'll see this, they just put effort into it. Instead of it being a boing, they start having to push themselves up. They pull their back legs up. So they use their whole front quarters. They pull themselves into a stand. What's one that you can think of?
I always think it's that not being that fussed to do stairs or hills. I think one thing you have with a dog over a cat is that you really monitor their exercise, whereas with cats, you don't know if they're in 10 gardens or one. So if you're out and then it's, oh, we won't do this walk because we didn't like the hill last time. Okay, as a one-off, that's okay. But if that's a repeated thing, or if the stairs at home and actually, you know, you normally go up to bed at night and the dog comes with you, and they're kind of coming in, you know, normally they're up there first and in the bed and on the duvet before you're, you know, finished food. But if they are then delaying that, it's not necessarily being polite and going, come with me. It's, you know what, the stairs are a bit too much. I'd
like a hesitancy, isn't it? And you see it with dogs that used to be able to get into the back of the car like that. It was like magic. They would just get there. And then you start to see them checking themselves, maybe kind of, am I going to make it? Can I get that high? Another one that I always like people to think about is just simply lagging behind on a walk. So they seem to have got tired or distracted. They just don't have that zest on the walk. They don't stay with you. They're lagging behind. So you mobile phone users, just every now and then, put it away and have a look around and just see where the dog is at. I'm terrible. If you ever spot me, don't criticize. I'm always doing your blinking emails or Facebook. I'm terrible. Lovely Luna is so patient with me. But put your mobile phone away and have a look. Talk about a few more.
And we often think that if it's back legs, it will only be going up things that's a problem. But one of the things that happens, so our dogs don't weight bear equally on all four paws. They usually weight bear a bit more towards the front, and the back legs are a bit more for bounce. So actually, what often happens with pain, particularly if it's around the hips, is that then the weight bear more on the front. So then going downstairs and going down hills actually becomes an issue, because then they're so front bearing that any change in incline becomes an issue. So then sometimes people say, oh, I think it's his shoulder because he stumbled. And actually, when you look at it, the shoulders are okay. But it's the fact that the muscles are tensing and they're now weight bearing so much on the front that any extra pressure is really adding to it. So we would think that with hips, it's always hind leg. Then when it's not, it will show in another way.
And that's true. Where I'm working now, I would say a good percentage, like a significant percentage of dogs coming in with forelimb lameness the owners are not aware that there's been quite a big problem in the back end for a long time. One that I missed a lot as a youngster was tail carriage. Oh yeah. So I can remember on about 3 occasions, people have come to me and said, just doesn't use his tail as much. And I was like, well, it's just getting old. And now that I am learning much more about the musculoskeletal system and how everything overlaps and affects each other, then you are going to have pelvic lower back problems that will influence tail use. And you might find that these dogs don't hold their tail up as much as they used to, don't wag as hard, the tail drops down quite quickly. Big indicator. Come on, let's keep going, we can do this.
Or often then the whole back end moves, and it's being for being extra excited, and it's not that. It's just because it's easier to move from your knees than it is from your hips, or it's easier to move your back legs as a whole, as one unit, than it is to just do that tail kind of from the pelvic area. I also think being not willing to be touched.
Oh, good one.
And you just said the classic phrase, "He's just getting old."
Yeah.
Age isn't a disease, absolutely, but it does make you more prone to other diseases. Same with us.
Mm-hmm.
And arthritis, we know, breed specific, but often age related. So then that's and they're not wanting to touch. And people often say, oh, it was when the children came round. Often because if you're sitting down or you're walking, you do just touch your dog's head. Whereas the children will probably play with the ears, they'll run their hands down their back, they'll run their hands down the leg, which is areas you probably aren't touching all the time. And then the dog snaps and it's seen as being close to the children. It's like, no, it's not.
Can I show you something amazing?
Oh God, well, tell.
Okay, so we do a range of booklets and we're permanently doing new ones. And this amazing guy that I've got to shout about because he is called Phil is graphically doing us a children's book.
Oh, wow.
I'll show you a very big preview. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this.
Oh, wow.
Why didn't you listen? Okay, and it's a book. Look at this, and it's to prevent children getting themselves in a situation that they might actually be handling that loves them, but it's too sore.
Yeah.
Holly, that's the lovely Holly. How exciting is this? Anybody that's just seen that section, we haven't got any sponsorship for that yet. This is being done by a guy called Phil, who is giving up his time to help us. It was written between a team of us. So me, Rebecca Barr, and Sarah Heath is helping us. And it's a booklet for children to then teach their parents what the signs of discomfort in dogs are, behavioural changes that can be signs of pain. So let's play with this behaviour thing because this is really important.
Oh, 110%.
Anybody that gets a sponsor, I will love it ever. So, changes in behaviour, such as a dog not wishing to do something that they've done very routinely, or a dog that starts doing something that they've not really done before. So, just what sort of things that you've seen in your time as a vet nurse?
Because one of the big things I think, particularly where we get a lot of smaller dogs, is if you watch how a smaller dog and a larger dog weave through a crowd of people in a busy place, the bigger dog has it much easier because they're probably within the human's eye line. So the humans will do some sort of moving out of the way. So their weaving and bobbing is less. When you have a smaller dog that can't be seen, the amount of work and judgment and side to side, tiny little movements, all the ones that really hurt the joints, is just insane. So you might find that a dog that normally would be like, yeah, it's a busy place, I'm gonna go, it's brilliant, I'm here all the time, actually then it's like, this is busy because this hurts me and I'm having to, I've got a bad back, and if I'm in a busy street and I have to stop and start and move to the side and move, I know that my back can't cope with that, but I know that the dog doesn't know why it's sore, it can't work that out, it just knows this many people brings on pain. So I know grumpy being here, and is that bit of panting, it's similar to the ladder of aggression. Panting, lip licking, and averting eyes are 3 that are really basic. And we see a lot on social media with somebody going, oh, look at this baby climbing on this dog. And we're all going, that baby's going to get bitten. And in fact, in the pub a couple of Friday nights ago, I was like, I might have had maybe a sherry or two. There was a spaniel lying on the floor. It was on the lead. Its owners were there to see what was going on. There was a 3-year-old toddler face to face with it, right in its face. Its parents were right there. Neither of them read things. The dog immediately yawned and immediately licked its lips and immediately averted its eyes. And I just sat there with my friend going, that dog's going to bite. That dog's going to bite. That dog's going to bite. And I was like, do I go and say anything? And he was just like, he went, you are quite drunk. And he went, they've got no idea. And I was like, yeah, but when it bites. And I don't know how old that dog was. I don't know why it was particularly stressed. It might be fine with children, but it gave 3 of the biggest warning signals before a snap or a growl that you can get. But that's not well known enough. And when that feeds into pain, particularly, you know, a lot of people that are older have older dogs. And they're the light of their life, but the dog now has a very quiet lifestyle. There's probably, you know, no children living in the house, people are around, they have a lifestyle that's perfect for them and it's brilliant. But then grandchildren come and visit, or godchildren come and visit, and the house suddenly becomes really busy. And because the dog always coped before, it's like, well, the dog will be fine. And actually, it possibly isn't. And there may have been changes in that dog's behaviour since before, but because the dog
Christmas is a really bad time for this, isn't it? Because I've done a lot of work as well, and unfortunately, a good proportion of the arthritic or chronic pain cases that come into an emergency. Yeah, I've got one too. Pub later.
I'm matching. Look at how my ring.
Has it got a cherry in it? Has it?
Has got no wine in it. It is genuinely.
It's generally coffee. Yeah, so in an emergency setting, you quite often will have those terrible cases where the dog has bitten and people go, I can't go back from this. That's a cut off for me. I've lost my trust in you. And that's really because the dog was like, I didn't mean to, but that really hurt.
Yeah.
And I told you loads of times. Yeah. So we really need to be getting a lot more education out there about dogs, because it is very, very, very rare that you will meet a dog that actually bites with no warning. You really, really rare. And because they're amazing, they're nicer than people. And they'll give you all the opportunities to not push them. So behavior changes. So new behaviors. Another one that I see quite a lot, dogs that used to just lay down, but they'll circle. Prepping. How are they going to lay down? Is it going to hurt? Changes in posture. Dogs that used to be able to squat or cock their leg, or they used to be able to poo in one place, and they now do the poo-poo train. Yeah. So plop, plop, plop. That's another one. What other ones can you think of?
Yeah, so interestingly, Ebony, the reason she's getting acupuncture is because she's been itching. And I've been through quite a lot with her, and for a long time I thought, she's not itchy, she has got myofascial pain, because she comes so far at the front with all her weight, because she's a peak. They're bred to be quite front heavy. Their anatomy is not particularly functional. It's not a huge amount of pain for them. And so you can feel it. Her thoracic muscles are just like a coiled spring. And if you touch them, her skin moves. Yeah. And so her itching is only around that part. And so I've had her on exclusion diet. I've done various skin treatments, but underneath it all, I just said, I think it's myofascial. And the thing with myofascial pain, so myofascia is basically the lining around the outside of the muscle. So when the muscle itself is contracting and getting tight, that fascia tightens down as well. And it's one of the pains that painkillers don't make any difference. So if a dog has been on painkillers and made a bit of a recovery but not great, it might be that. And they can be really tender to the touch. And you may find that, you know, depending on where you touch them, their skin will go like that. Her skin goes like that, and that's because the fascia around the muscle is just like, I'm at tension point. I can't take anymore.
Can I tell you a story about fascia and me? So since Cam started, I've done a lot more driving. So for a good 15 years, being a vet, 5-6 days a week. So you've been up, standing, leaning, bending, picking up, always moving. You're always moving. You don't really sit down as a vet. And then suddenly I was in front of my laptop and I've been doing lots of driving, and I've developed quite nasty hip pain. I'm only 41. And I was like, this cannot be arthritis. That's just too ironic. And it must be soft tissue, fascial, joint capsule, because since going back to being more active and being more of a gym bunny again and getting out and walking and all of this stuff, it has gone. Now I can tell you that is horrendous pain. You know, the sort of thing that you wake up in the night. That's another one. Dogs that don't sleep through the night. They just seem to wake up. They're agitated. They're not getting good quality sleep. They can't get comfortable. So those sorts of things are often missed. And people come in waiting for them to be obviously lame, or the worst of the worst. He didn't cry out. I didn't realize it was painful. Or dogs that are really limping quite badly. He wouldn't walk if it hurt. No, you know, lots of us have back problems and we still have to go to work and we still have to pay a mortgage and we still have to collect the kids from school. It doesn't mean that we go, sorry, my back's out, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing until you call an ambulance. We do the same, but we seem to want our dogs to tell us differently.
Mm. And so it's interesting to note, one, a lot of animals won't vocalize until they're in final death row pain, because if you vocalize because you're in pain, someone would come and eat you. So there's that ancient behavioral aspect. And yeah, interestingly, that's one of the difficulties, that if you have a dog that maybe is being fine being left regularly for 4 hours at a time, if they are genuinely sleeping for that 4 hours, it might well take them quite a bit of time to get warmed up. It's one of the reasons I end up having a dog sitter for Ebony, even though I might only be out for 6 hours in a day, which in the grand scheme of things emotionally she's fine with, as long as it's not very often. I want someone to go in and wake her up, take her for a pee and make sure she gets something to eat, because it just keeps her moving. The best, my ex-in-laws, always a German Shepherd, which as a vet nurse you just go hit. And the reason that I think one of their dogs lived for so long is because he got to the age when they were both retired, and between the dog was never really on his own, but he was one of those dogs that followed them around the house. So whatever he got up. So I don't think he ever really lay down for more than about 20 minutes, half an hour. And I don't really think that was what kept him going for so long, was because he had a 20-minute nap, they moved, he got up. He hadn't had time to seize up. He hadn't had time to pain. He'd move, you know, and it would be to the next room or out to the garden. So he had that little and often exercise, because it's about, a lot of this is about managing lifestyle change, because often people get told, if your dog's arthritic, it can't walk for as long.
I know.
It can't walk for as long in one period, but it may still want the same amount of time outdoors. It's a case of how much you cover and how many efforts you do it in. So if you normally do 2 1-hour walks a day, it might be that you do 3 30-minute walks a day.
Well, I have got absolutely brilliant story about that. When me and Holly did the big walk, so we did 100 miles in 8 days and a dog trolley. And we did the South Downs Way. But by having the dog trolley, when I started to see her fatigue, I could put her in the trolley. She could have an hour off. We'd cover a bit of ground, and I'd go back again, and she'd go for another half an hour, pop her back in the trolley. She was treated like a queen. And by the end of the 8 days, she was amazing. Like, we got home after this epic walk, and she was, I want to play ball, I want to do stuff, I want to go out, come on, let's do stuff. And I was like, well, that is because she was up and moving little and often. She was mobile. Let's go to another category of dogs that get neglected. Let's go to the younger arthritics. Now, where I'm working at the moment is quite exciting, because I do more regenerative, and I'm doing lots of diagnostic imaging, and therefore we're having quite a lot of the agility people coming our way. So these are dogs that are wanting to perform to quite a high level, and you see quite significant joint damage in dogs that are still performing amazingly well, but they're underperforming. They're slightly missing a weave. They're just hesitating at a jump. They're taking turns a little bit wider, or they just haven't got the same love of it. There's something just not quite right. And please, those people, please get your dog really well assessed, because generally the breeds that are doing these high-end activities, they're driven, they're focused, they're loyal, they want to do it. If they start not wanting to do it, there's something generally going on. So please do get that looked at. And you need to be looking for postural change. You need to tell your vet what things that they can't do so well. But even your younger dogs, this is something, a really big message I want to get out there. It's really important to me. A problem doesn't need to show itself 100% of the time for it to exist. A problem can be there 20% of the day, because the brain is quite complicated. And if something really exciting is going on, pain can be forgotten, and they can work through it, because that's really exciting. And I've got bad hips, bad back, but if the wind's up, I want to go kite surfing. And then I think about what I did to myself after. Dogs are very the same. So something I'm sure you'll agree with, people come in and they say, well, he limped for a few days and then it's gone and then it's back, and it's obviously not a problem because it's not there all the time. What do you think about that?
Because this is all lifestyle management, and it's understanding the different levels of activity that your dog gets, or the different levels of stress, or the different types of activity that they undertake. Because an on-lead walk through a busy town requires them to function differently than if they're off-lead on a nice big flat plain, or if it's wet and it's slippy underfoot, then that puts an extra strain on than running on, hard dry grass, running on a wet beach. Obviously, we know, if it's hard impacted, then that's just like running on a road. If it's really soft sand, that makes it a lot more difficult. And so it's understanding that I'm really sore today. What did we do yesterday, or even a couple of days ago?
Yes.
To kind of think through that process of, what did we do differently? Did he meet, a new dog in the park that he ran wild with and absolutely loved? Or, do you know what? We did an 8-hour journey, because that's the other thing. Because the lameness can show if there's over exercise or if there's under exercise.
Yeah.
So then you feel like you're never going to get an answer. But actually, okay, so I'm in Kent. If I was going to Cornwall with my dog tomorrow, I would expect her to be a bit rubbish the day after, because she spent the majority of the day in the car. She hasn't had enough exercise. But just as she came with me to a meeting at school, I'm doing a PhD, I'm a student, I don't really do very much.
I'm quite jealous.
It's the best thing in the world. But Ebony came with me to a supervision meeting, and then we go to a reading group in the pub after. And my dog, and then I'm out for about 5 hours, and it's just too long to leave her, I think, in the evening. Didn't bring the dog sitter in, but my supervisor loves her, so she goes. But I didn't expect much for the next day, because while she hadn't walked masses, because we were walking into town from campus, and it's very busy, she stands up in the front of her buggy the whole time. So she's putting a bit more weight on her front legs, and her little back legs are working like mad. And then she'll drop back down, she'll get back up. And she must have done that about 6 times in a 20-minute walk.
Yeah.
So, and I take her painkillers to the pub to get one at a good time when we've arrived. But I know that tomorrow you're not going to be great. But in reality, most people would think, oh, that's not exercise.
Yes.
But for her, that massively is exercise, because she's jumping up and down, she's balancing on her hind legs, she's trying to work her core with her big umbilical hernia, but let's not talk about that.
No, but it's true. And that is the thing, is that I get quite frustrated when people say it's just arthritis, or it's so simple, it's just arthritis. Like, it's not. It is so complicated, and there are so many variable presentations.
Yeah.
The one that we commonly see are dogs that don't like to be towel dried, don't like their feet to be handled anymore, aren't appreciative of being picked up, don't like moving off the sofa, don't like sitting next to them on the sofa, they move away. So those sorts of things need to be identified. And I thought of another one, it's just gone out of my head.
Well, I was just looking at what Patricia's put up about where they're walking. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I was working a New Year's Day a few years ago, and we all did 4 hours overtime. It was just one of those days where the emergencies just didn't stop. And we got a phone call. This was when I was in London. We got a phone call from the police from Hampstead Heath, who had found couple who their dog had slipped in the mud, and we were told its leg was flapping in the bruise.
Okay.
From slipping in the mud. It was like, okay. And it was a mastiff, so they'd really struggled. They were miles from the car, so they got the parts place, and the parts place got them in. And it was great. And to be quite honest, in that type of dog, you're thinking it's going to be a bit arthritic, or it's going to have done its cruciate. Its leg's not going to actually be flapping in the breeze. But I appreciate if it's completely lame, that's what it looks like. Well, this dog arrived, and its leg was flapping in the breeze. But we x-rayed, and it was horrible for the owners. The dog actually had an osteosarcoma.
Yeah.
But the only reason that leg had snapped was because the dog had slid in mud.
Yeah.
And they had no idea.
I'm going to use that story.
And that's how much being, running in mud can do. That dog was put to sleep there and then,
But that also shows how much pain that dog was putting up with to continue its life.
Yeah.
Its owners. And this is, people can shoot me down for this, I don't care. Dogs are insanely amazing. And
you love being with us. If the option is that you're going to go out and leave me if I can't go for a walk, then I'm going to go for a walk, because dogs are people pleasers. They want to be with you. They want to be doing stuff with you.
Yeah.
And I think we all know we've all worked through pain. It makes us a bit grumpy. It makes us a bit tired. It makes us whatever. But I have got very well back, but like you, this week has been good for paddleboarding.
Yeah. Do you paddleboard too?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'll come and hang out with you.
There's my board storage. Board.
I love it. Yeah.
This is allegedly my PhD office, but essentially,
you're not actually working at all, are you? I've got another one. Lazy.
But I will go out and do that, because I will manage my pain in other ways. What our dogs don't have an idea of is managing their pain in other ways. So then it's a bit like, when you're with a toddler, you kind of have to take over that management for them. But it's that we've started with recognition. So where we can recognise, what it could possibly be and how's it going to show, and then we can kind of go on to kind of what can you do about it, because there's the joy of arthritis is there's so many different ways. But
last one to mention, something that frustrates me is when people say he's just lazy, and I find that quite frustrating, because there are very few dogs that really truly are lazy, so don't jump to that description about your dog, or don't let a family member use that description with ease. If somebody in your family is going, oh, he doesn't want to do it, he's just lazy, and you're thinking, whoa, I've seen him move, he's a bit stiff, he's, flag it up. We shouldn't be accepting that. Right, so let's move on. So we've done quite a lot about identification. I hope you guys are happy with that. But there is so much I think we've seen in our collective 34 years that we're desperate to tell people about. Next thing that I really wanted Jane to help me with is, how can you, the owner, get the most out of your vet practice? I'm just going to have a little bit of a soapbox rant just for a moment. There's been a lot of bad press in this week, and a number of the CAM team have actually been emailing back and forth going, do you know what, this is really upsetting when people slate vets. I've just done another hour overtime through my lunch break. I didn't leave work 2 hours, earlier like I was supposed to. I missed picking up the kids. I haven't cooked dinner because I stayed late, because they needed me, because that client needed me. And that is something across the board. Vets do not get overtime. We all work through our lunch breaks. We all work, way into the evenings. We never let our colleagues down. We don't let our clients down. So when we get bad press like that, it just hits like a knife in the heart, doesn't it? And so this part of today's Facebook Live is to celebrate how much a vet practice does do and how much they can do for you. So tell me the sort of things that you've experienced, because you've worked around a lot. What kind of things do vet practices regularly offer that owners in this position should take advantage of?
So the traditional visit to the vet is you sit in the waiting room, you have small talk with the receptionist, and then you see the vet. Mm-hmm. And it's 15 minutes, and you kind of feel like I need to just tell them the bare bones of the issue, and the little niggles like the bed and the not getting in the car easily, or all those things kind of fall to the bottom of your list. So it's definitely worth speaking to the whole team. And if your clinic does them, and most clinics do now, to be quite honest, book a nurse consult. Most nurse consults are usually half an hour.
Yeah.
Often your vet might refer you to a nurse clinic anyway, but go to them and just say the little things that are bugging you. It doesn't have to be, oh, he never gets up, or he never does this. It can be just at the start of a problem.
Yeah.
Ask them, and even in reception, have a look at the notice board or speak to the receptionist about what you're doing with an older dog. How do you cope with it? I don't think that lead fits.
Or even a younger dog with arthritis. What do you? I said on another Facebook Live, and it went down an absolute tree. I'm quite blunt. I find it very easy being blunt. Go to the desk and say, I have a dog. This is my problem. What does your practice offer people like me? Do you do weight clinics? Do you do older dog clinics? Do you do group? Do you have an in-house physio? Do you have a nurse or a vet that's interested in pain management? What can you give me? I'm open to suggestions. Wow. They'll be like, ooh, excellent.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that we can read minds. And another thing that I find often happens is you can feel inhibited at offering people services because a lot of people go, oh, they just want my money. So you do find a lot of first opinion vets and nurses are a little bit coy with offering stuff for fear that it will be taken in completely the wrong context. So that's something we need to stop. A lot of nurse clinics are heavily subsidized. Some of them are even free of charge. Please ask for them. Nurses are amazing. So what sort of things? So I've said weight clinic.
Yeah. I think it's nice to do just a general health check clinic. I know that lots of clinics now offer geriatric clinics or oldies clubs or creaky clubs or things like that. And I think premise of them is great. As an older pet lover myself, I think they're fantastic. But if I was a member of the public, I don't know if I would want to call my pet old, because I think people worry that being old means getting sick and dying. And what we're trying to do particularly with Cam, is we're trying to give much more life to your dog and hopefully more years, so that you don't have a dog that you're going, oh, well, we won't take him in the car because he doesn't want to get in and out. Where we can give you the advice, how can you get him in and out safely? Why is he maybe not wanting to do that? So you'll get lots of practical advice, and not necessarily stuff that means you have to keep going back to the clinic, because I think that's another fear as well, that if I start a course of treatment, I'm going to be here every week, and that's a lot of time and a lot of money. But simple, ways of, sort of future-proofing your house for a dog that might slip, because we all love wooden floors. Well, wooden floors for dogs with bad hips or bad shoulders or bad knees.
Carry that thought. I'm just going to go and grab something and show you guys. Carry on.
So that's difficult, and you'll get lots of practical advice like that. And speak to the reception team. Now, most people that are receptionists in veterinary clinics know everything for a start. They know everyone that the vet clinic works with. They know lots of good dog walkers and people that will work your dog properly. So it's well worth chatting to them. And quite a lot of those people often do something on the side, like hydrotherapy or physio or something else, and they run two careers together. And they're usually a very good kind of maven for the clinic, that they bring everyone together. So if you are in that position where you said, oh, well, we've maybe had some painkillers, but I've heard about hydrotherapy, or I've heard about physio, how do I do that? Are they here? Where are they?
A directory. A directory is so handy. Having that booklet, a laminated booklet in the waiting room where people can say, this is blah, blah, blah. Now, I know a lot of practices will have a notice board, but that doesn't mean it's being checked. People can come and just put a poster up or a business card. I know, as an owner of an arthritic dog, just wanted the vets to go, yeah, they were really lovely, and we really do, enjoy working with them. We've checked out their facilities. We've checked their credentials. Just to rewind about that lifestyle change, I need to give a massive shout out to White Cross Vets, because they have got an OA clinic nailed for all ages, but they get it. Now, let me explain about this. So, this is the anti-slip tape. It gets the ball rolling. So, psychologically, if you're going to purchase something and start using it, if you go, right, I'm going to put this on my stairs, I put it on my door frames, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well put a rug down. And if I'm going to do that, I'll put a stairgate up. And if I'm going to do that, I'll actually think about dealing with the decking, because there's no point in me putting just a little bit of anti-slip in one place and ignoring the rest of the house. For your information, all of our details are on there. So it's also an education aid. So this little bag of tape takes your owners into a safe world of loads of information. We have clear.
And if you want to see that in action, I've got a video of my last dog using that tape on my YouTube channel. So Jane RVN YouTube. You've seen it.
I have, because you caught your dog stepping over a ledge and it slipped every time, didn't it? And you put it down.
She liked to go out of the back door, which had a painted step, so slippy, but she liked to go at speed, but also at an angle. And I'd seen her slip before, but it was when I videoed it and then I slowed it down, and she actually bounces like 3 times. So it's not just a slip and back up. Yeah. Is that she goes down, she actually almost hits her hip off the floor, then she struggles to place her leg again, then she gets up, and I put the tape on there. So she still was running and cornering, but she didn't slip. And when I slowed it down, I felt so guilty that I'd left her doing that.
I think you've hit the nail on the head, because I did the home service. So
your comments are absolutely fabulous. Rosemary, absolutely, doesn't old dog turn off young arthritis? Exactly, because also people think old means 15, and actually to us, geriatric means a dog's in the last third of their life. Every dog is a Great Dane.
So we need to come up with some good names, Cam followers. So give us ideas. You know, if your vet is potentially watching this,
more rugs, less drugs.
I love it.
Perfect. That's my new hashtag.
This is another adaptation of the tape. It's easily wipe clean. Just give me my time. We have discs. So if you've got hard places, but these are little discs, yes. Then we have, there's a special name for this, under the rug, because I can't believe the amount of people I say, put down a rug, and I'll go to their house, and it'll be a towel on a tile floor, and I'll be like, oh, that's really seriously dangerous. They're like, oh, is it? I'm like, yes. Under the rugs. And finally, glow in the dark.
Oh, perfect.
So guys, that exists, and the reason we created it was to get people thinking. So any nurses or vets that are watching this, when people are told to adapt their home environment, if it's a passing comment, it goes in and out. If you say, look, it is so important, this company have even started producing, you know, tapes, because it is important. So what we're going to talk about next, we're going to talk about our clinics. I've done weight. You've talked about general health. We've talked about having a directory, so physio, hydro, acupuncture, massage, behaviour, dog groomers, dog walkers that get it. That's something that we need to talk about. Is that whole industry.
That was the genuine bane of my life, was trying to find a dog walker that could understand the concept that when I say dog walk, I mean, I want you to come around, pop my dog out in the garden until she toilets, give her some treats, give her a bit of fuss, and then leave her. She does not want a dog walk. She does not want to go in the back of your van. She does not want to walk with another dog, another 10 dogs for an hour, because she physically can. And even though I said it's Pekingese, she's 14, there were some people that were still like, well, I'll take her for an hour. I'm like, no, she doesn't. If she goes out for an hour with me, it's because we've walked to the pub and we've sat in the pub for an hour, and then we've walked home, and there's like 10 pubs within 5 minutes of here. You need to come and visit.
I love the fact you keep saying pub. It's so up my street.
Really. And they're all dog friendly. So it's like, yeah, if I go out for an hour, or if I go out for an hour, like the other night when I was doing the reading group and she kept standing up, like when we got to the pub and I ended up just holding her in my arms for a bit, because I was like, can we just rest our legs?
Yeah.
But she's overcoming excitement, going, people are here, people need to see me, I need to stand up and do my thing. And so it is about that. And I find it slightly frustrating, because the majority of this was still while I was in North London, and some of these people charged 25 quid an hour for a dog walk, and none of them had general basic common sense that I'm talking about a small breed dog that I've told you is arthritic, that is on medication, and you still are trying to insist that I fit your pigeonholed.
But that's the same with groomers as well. I had a number of cases that we worked really, really hard to control the pain, and then they'd go and be groomed and we'd be back to square one, because that is hard work. Standing is not a passive act. Standing for long periods of time on a platform.
Continual movement. That's the problem with groomers. It might be standing, but it's continual weight transference to get to the right bits.
It's hard work.
I bought clippers before my dog Polly, because she got so arthritic that it would be 2 hours of standing at the groomers for a small dog. And because she'd been brought up in a show kennel, if you slightly touched her hand, she would be like she knew she'd overextend her leg to get in the air to let you groom. That's what she'd been taught. So she'd no concept of pulling back on that. So actually, what I do now is I have a once-a-month nurse clinic at my vet's. I take Ebony in, we shave her paws, we clip her nails, we trim her trousers, and that means she hasn't got hairy feet to slide on anything. We've checked her claws and we've done it so they're not overgrown, because she doesn't like all my rescue dogs. After 6 months, you're my mum, you don't clip my
That is something, any nurse watching this, we're going to be doing it here at Greenside on our
paws and claws clinic. Your paws and claws clinic.
I know.
Shave the hair, because so many dogs have feet that are too hairy. Clip the claws, and you know what? While you're doing it, you will see where that dog has problems, or the owner will tell you they don't like that paw being touched, and you will absolutely pick up more in paws and claws.
We'll get Danny back. She goes crazy about pad wear. But on your consent form for when you're doing sedations and dentals and lump removals and stuff, ask them if they want their nails clipped and their paws trimmed, because if they're sedated or anaesthetized, it's a perfect opportunity to do that nice little care and attention there. All of the dogs that come and see us for stem cells or diagnostic workup, we're all there, shave, clip nails, because they have a massive impact on mobility. Can you imagine if your nails are too long and it doesn't actually allow you to even place properly, or you end up twisting? Oh, no. Okay, so back to the practice. We've talked about this directory that's now going to have also groomers, dog walkers, dog sitters, any kind of pet care industry. We want the practice.
And what Patricia's just put up is so good. I was trying to explain this, not needing to walk the dog, to someone the other day, but my £5 was not value for money for the hour I could spend with the dog without walking it. And it's an elderly dog that wants to stay home. So it probably wants to stay at home because it doesn't want to go for a massive walk, but it would still like some care and attention. Absolutely. And that's what my dog walkers give with Ebony. And hilariously, on Monday, I said, oh, how was she? And they went, yeah, she just literally, we woke her up, she went for a pee, she went back in and she went to bed, and it was kind of like, bye. I'm
done today. Well, Patricia, let's get the ball rolling on Holly's Army and say, I live here in this region, I'm looking for other people in a similar boat to me. I want to be able to meet up with people that get it. And it happened a few months ago where I started seeing people were meeting up because they were in the same boat. People that wanted to go away for maybe an evening or a night, and they didn't have anybody that could look after their elderly dog that got it. And that's what I found, is that I ended up becoming very reclusive, and I wouldn't go out because my dog was important to me, and people didn't get that she needed assistance. So I've got to go and get something else. Stay there.
Oh, right. Patricia, you sound fantastic. And I absolutely think, speak to your vet and let people know that you do that. And actually, you're providing a higher level of care than a standard dog walker who's got 5 dogs off the lead and doesn't know where they are or what they're eating or if they've pooed.
Exactly.
If you spend an hour socialising with that dog, that's way more valuable, because 50% of what a dog does on a walk is socialise and exercise its brain.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to take the exercise part away. It's why all my dogs love being in the buggy. And people say to me, oh, how'd you get them to stay in there? And I'm like, well, it's warm and cozy, it's got treats, but they're still seeing the world. We didn't use it. And people then go,
I quite like a buggy.
Well, exactly. And so
let me just tell you about these. Okay, so the lovely Lee Miller has mentioned it about Kane's taking Cam worldwide. We got Americans asking about his bandana. So why do we have these made? So many reasons. Because I got to the point that I felt a little bit uncomfortable with people thinking that I didn't do anything for my dog. I didn't care because she was very slow. And to me, her wearing that told the world, she's on pain relief. I know I've got a problem. I'm on it. And thank you for caring. I also had it so that if another dog ran up to her, people didn't think I was crazy. And when I went, can you just back off? My dog hasn't got the ability to move so quickly. She can't reverse anymore. She can't use all of those postural and physical kind of indicators of, I ain't playing today. She was too slow to be able to give that communication. So by her wearing this, no, the other dog couldn't read. Don't be facetious, anybody, but the other owner could understand my behaviour pattern of being a little bit tense and saying, do you mind? Sorry. So there's that. Also, Jane, you'll appreciate this. Having that on a dog in a pub, they get a wide berth. People don't knock them over.
Yeah. Really. It's great. I've got a little blind dog coat for Ebony because she likes to go off the lead on the beach. And it's amazing. We're so respectful of it. And what's also interesting is then people want to talk to you about dog being blind. And the amount of people are like, can I give her a treat? And she's just like...
And that's the other thing is that you guys who are benefiting from CAM can now take your information and tell somebody else that will tell somebody else, and we can actually change this. Because just before we started this Facebook Live, I was telling Jane a story about how I was at work and I walked past a dog that was laying on the floor in the waiting room, and it was obvious what was about to happen. You know, the dog's mobility was really, really at the end. And I said to my colleague, oh, do you know, when will this stop? You know, they're coming in so late. They should have been identified earlier. And the vet said to me, it will never change. It will always be like this. And I was like, no. We've taken dogs from wearing collars to harnesses. Harnesses are accepted. We now have the majority of owned dogs wearing coats in the winter. We have had a massive turnaround with understanding about the importance of dentistry, for example, behaviour. You know, we've had the rise and the fall of the brachycephalic. You know, there's a lot of things that have changed in a dramatic way over the last decade. We can do this. We can actually teach people about how pain is presented, not just in dogs, in animals, and we can really improve this, and we can catch these diseases early, because we do know the earlier that we catch this disease and we attend to it, the longer that we have and the better quality of life that they have. So moving on, we've been talking about what your practice can do for you. We've told you to be blunt. Go in, ask for it, say, what can you do for me? Because practices, there's a lot of us now. We're all competing a little bit. Shh, didn't really say that. But there's a lot of practices in the same towns that are wanting to provide services. They want you to come to them. Give them a chance. Get them, show them what they can do.
Right, I'm going to share a story here. And this was with my cat, so we'll sneak her in under the bit. She started getting a bit constipated. Now, she was elderly, she had a bit of renal failure. And I was like, I'm not putting a cat to sleep for constipation unless there's a serious problem.
Yeah.
My vets just at the time really dragged their heels over doing any sort of workup, and I found it really frustrating. So she ended up being referred to the Royal Veterinary College, and one afternoon they did a workup, which was, yes, her renals have got worse. She's probably mildly dehydrated, which can make her constipated. As at her age, she's probably got lowered gut motility, so there's medication we can do on that. But they x-rayed her, and she's very bad, really severe spondylosis spine. So it means the spine is growing, so there's less flexibility.
Yeah.
So then we needed to put in some lactulose and some pumpkin into the food just to help things along. And she had another 4 amazing months with that. Also, they started her on gabapentin, which is a bit fiddly to get for cats because it's a small size and you need to get it specially done. And my vets just didn't really want to give her gabapentin. And I was like, but this has been referred to you by internal medicine specialists. I've not come in demanding this drug.
Yeah.
And so I walked. I knew a clinic on the road that had that type of medication ready made up in stock because they prescribed it to so many animals like her. And so I voted with my feet, which was, you're a lovely practice, but you aren't prepared to do the palliative care, which is what my cat needs. I understand that she's not going to live forever. If anything, awful had happened to her in that 4 months, I would immediately put her to sleep. But as it was, she had an extra 4 months of really good quality of life.
And I think that's fair to say, like, so I don't feel guilty doing this. We've just bigged up vet practices. I'm telling the world, me and Jane are here telling the world, please, you know, use your vet practice. But we will also have the caveat that if your vet practice isn't providing what you need, then you will go somewhere else. You know, it's not like being on the NHS kind of, this is your surgery, this is where you'll go, this is your doctor, and, you know, kind of suck it up. You're paying, you get to choose. So you have the ability to raise the standard of care by you saying, I want more. That go, oh, we've just had someone leave because they really wanted a OA clinic. We've had 3 people leave because they wanted an OA clinic. You have the ability to make sure that that practice has an OA clinic for the next generation of people that come through, and they're going to be coming through thick and fast. So don't be scared to say, this ain't suiting me, I need to go somewhere else.
Yeah. So Laura's saying, can we scroll up? Yes, does it scroll? Yeah. Can you scroll? Just to see what Laura said. She's just moving she's gone to another dog walker. Do you know what? It's so important. You're paying your money and you can take your choice to have someone that fits with your animal. And dog walkers like vets all provide the service that they want to offer. So some people will be for big boisterous dogs, some people will be for little elderly dogs. And there's a place for everyone to exist in that marketplace, absolutely. And the reason that I knew that this clinic had those drugs in is because my dog went there for hydrotherapy, and they had a group of practices. So one had acupuncture, one had hydrotherapy, and I knew because of that they had these drugs in, because at different branches people would be saying, oh, we need a repeat for this drug, because they were seeing lots of rehab. Yeah. So I ended up going back to them because I was like, and also I'm coming to you for acupuncture anyway. I might as well just get my drugs here.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
And Laura talks about something else which I want the world to know about. She's talking about objective markers. So guys who are new to us, objective markers are really important because no one knows your dog better than you do, but Cam is here to teach you how to know your dog as well as you could do. Now, Laura is talking about something that you can find in this booklet, okay? So this booklet is designed like a vaccination card. And at the back of the booklet is a awesome chart. So for me, I can remember with Holly, some days it starts to all blend together. You start not being able to tell your ass from your elbow because are they better? Are they worse? Are they happy? Are they sad? What's their mobility like? I don't know. I'm struggling to know whether they're plateaued or are they deteriorating. And you can get yourself into a bit of an emotional puddle, really. This is designed to stop you getting into an emotional puddle by using either postural capability, gait, behavioural changes. You can monitor them getting better or worse. So these are things that you've seen, they've flagged up to you. It might be lameness, it might be difficulty laying down, it might be stiffness, it might be dragging toes, it might be tail carriage. It's in the book. You can write it down, you can score it, and you can see if it changes. If that's hard, there's something else in this book. The Canine Brief Pain Inventory. Here you go. Index. Questions, answers, numerical score. Finally, for the people that really, really go, actually, it's a bit difficult. Simple. Good day, bad day diary. Objective markers. Being objective is really important because the human brain has an amazing capacity to make you believe things that aren't there, see things that aren't there. You need to be objective about how you're getting on with your dog. And me, as your vet, I need to know whether what I'm doing is working. Jane, as your nurse, needs to know whether the drugs that you've been prescribed have made a difference, because nothing comes with a promise. And my big, big take home, if people are promising you stuff with this disease, wide berth, because arthritis is really complicated and your dog is unique and their disease that they have at this time is unique. So having somebody promise you is a little bit of a dangerous game in my book. Would you agree?
Yeah, and because arthritic pain takes different forms in different animals, and because we have a variety of drugs to treat it, we've got a variety of therapies to treat it. It's not a one size fits all, which sometimes is frustrating because you might need to try a hydro and go, were they better, were they worse? You might need to try a couple of different drugs. Which one worked better?
Yeah.
You might need to spend a bit of time hunting. I mean, it's taken me a while to actually find an acupuncturist for the dramas of my first world crisis that I'm having. But that's I had a real moan about it the other night at my PhD reading group, and I don't think they're quite prepared for crazy.
No. What we've quite on another note, I've got to big up the Canbassadors. So for you guys who use Holly's Army and the Facebook page, there's this lovely group of owners who get it and they give up their time for free to help supervise, look after you, direct you, escort you through this journey. And quite often they have a natter on a little private group we've got of, the world just doesn't get it. All I can do about it is talk about is arthritis. I go to the dentist and I find them talking about arthritis. I go shopping in Asda's and I'm talking about arthritis. It gets a little bit addictive. But you can, you're amazing.
Yeah, I just wanted to say kindly thank you for mentioning the C in canine can fantastic under cat. And and cats are arthritis too. So anything that we've said tonight, if you have a cat and a dog, as lots of people do, then consider it for a cat, because sometimes they're forgotten because we really associate arthritis with dogs, but it's there in cats too. So often the changes in your home will benefit your cat as well. It's well worth kind of considering those things with bedding and ramps and those kind of things.
And we do actually have the URL, felinearthritis.co.uk. Oh yeah. And I must admit, I thought that our traction to glory was going to be a lot quicker than it has been. And I thought within 3 years I would have written the second website. Been tough mustard. So the next website hasn't been written for cats yet, but it will be. It will be.
Exactly.
So we are at 61 minutes. Both of us lives to get on with, both involving the pub.
But can I do my kind of sort of top 5 products?
We've got 10 top tips to do.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You've got 10 tips. So I know you look exhausted. So basically, it gives us an opportunity to give gifts to people. So they've listened to us talk. Maybe some of it's blended into each other. They've forgotten what was said at the beginning. This is the hard and fast advice. Easy chunks. I'm hoping that Robin Lowe might be listening. If not, maybe Lynn will step in and they will say these tips. 1, 2, they're going to abbreviate it for us. These are things that are directed to everybody, no matter your financial situation, no matter what your physical capabilities are. These 10 bits of advice that we're going to give you count. So take it away, Jane. Number 10. What would be a tip that you would give to an owner? No more than 30 seconds.
I think just note the changes. It doesn't matter how small they are. Note those changes and talk to someone about it. It could be the receptionist, it could be a nurse, it could be someone else in the park. But start that conversation with someone, because you're not going to turn up at the vets not having spoken about the problem at all. So therefore, and the changes that you notice are the most important changes ever. I could look at a dog walking and go, it's got this, it's got that. But what that means to you and your dog, only you know. And only you know what you want to improve. Yeah,
good one. I've got a top tip for a receptionist and an owner and nurse. The waiting floors are slippery. No doubt about it. And it's something that's really difficult to resolve because they need to be cleaned regularly. So get yourself a yoga mat, half a yoga mat. Take it with you. Take a vet bed. Ask for a vet bed. Receptionist, have some rolled up yoga mats in the corner in a basket. Offer it to the owner. Help that dog. We need to be leading from the front. We need to be setting an example. You, as the receptionist, have the ability to plant seeds. That owner might not have realised that their dog was struggling, but by you giving them a mat, you're saying, I can see your dog struggling. Flag it up to the vet. Say something. Number 8.
To add on to that, if you're building a vet clinic, put underfloor heating, because that makes your waiting room. I worked in a clinic with underfloor heating in the waiting room, and it was the most amazing thing ever. Even we would lie on the floor. The dogs loved it. They didn't want to move.
That's a good idea. We're just doing some building work here. I'll just throw it in there now.
Well, this was a really old clinic that I was like, well, hey, that was pretty impressive back in those days. My genuine one is, don't be afraid to be different as an owner, and don't be afraid to be different as a vet or a nurse. Acupuncture for animals is not a wacko thing. Hydrotherapy, massage for animals, dog buggies, yoga mats. These are the norm now. We see these as the norm in how to create happy, contented pets.
Yeah. I'm going to add to that with number 7. Number 7 to me reminds me of a story. I went to a lady's house and she had a very elderly Westie and he was still doing a very steep staircase. And when I said, why do you let him? Why do you not just carry him? He's only about 8 kilos. She went, I thought that was over the top. And I thought people might think I was over the top. You know, he should use all 4 legs. And I was like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. Your dog cannot do those stairs safely. You can easily carry your dog up. 8 kilos is fine. You're not risking your health. And she was like, so I'm allowed to? I was like, yeah, you're allowed to. Don't get people's opinions to affect how you manage your dog. If that is important to you, then do it. Number 6.
Make good use of the team around you. Do you know what? Ask for the vets and ask about people that maybe aren't in the clinic. Lots of physios, acupuncturists might work out of various different places. So just because someone's not standing in the waiting room or in the consult room, don't think they don't exist. Ask those questions.
Oh, I like it. Very good. Talking still about the vet stuff is please use the weight clinics. Please. I say every time, 9 out of 10 owners cannot see that their pet is overweight. So 9 out of 10 owners of overweight pets cannot see it. I don't blame you. You can't see it. So with that in mind, and any opportunity for somebody to critique your dog, take it. Don't be ashamed. Just say, please, can you have a look at my dog and tell me what his body condition score is? We were in the pub the other day, and this chocolate Labrador.
The library.
No. This chocolate Labrador was at least 10 out of 9, okay? And this guy came over and said, what breed of dog is that? And the guy went, it's a Labrador. I went, no, it's massive. The owner just didn't see it. They just didn't see it. He loved that dog. So get people to help advise you. Number 4. Too many.
No, I'm just having a bit of a. Do you know what? Show love. I'm sitting here and I'm massaging her thoracic muscles.
Nice.
What I'm doing. And do you know what? When you do something, even if it's not 100% for your dog, just encourage them. When I started it, her little back leg was twitching and everything, but she's gone into it now. So get things that you can do at home. It doesn't all have to be about going to the vet clinic. The physio, I've had the physio around to her twice. She's given me exercise. She's given me stuff to do, and I just sit and do little bits of massage, and it's so bonding for us. I've actually only had Ebony for about 10 months.
Yeah,
we've just bonded so much with lots of little touching, lots of little nice things.
Lovely.
So not everything needs to be at the vet. You can learn to do massage and hot and cold things.
Massage, passive range of motion, heat sacks, cold sacks, therapy exercises. There's loads of stuff that you can do. So number 3 for me is something that I feel is overlooked a lot. And when you're going to your vet clinic, make sure that the journey there and back is safe. I see a number of people saying, oh yeah, his behaviour is really deteriorated in the car, as if the dog has become naughty. You know, he won't settle, he's barky, he just won't lay down, he seems really unsettled. Well, it's potentially because it's uncomfortable, bracing yourself continuously, going around corners, when you don't know that they're coming, can be really, really hard work and quite painful. So make sure that your dog is comfortable in that car on that journey to the vet, because these little upsets can stay with them for a fair few days and they can take a while to get over that. So think ahead. Number 2.
Oh, well, I'm going to say my top tip. Ebony usually goes in the passenger footwell, and I have a double duvet folded in 4 that goes in, and it means she can just sink into it and it moves with the motion of the car.
Nice. I like that.
It's better. So the memory foam ones tend to stand a little bit above, and honestly, just a basic duvet just gives her so much support. Gwen
used to do that with Dottie. So Dottie used to snuggle into the footwell, and it just gave that comfort, not rattling around.
Yeah.
You got to do your own number 2. You got to do your own number 2. Don't steal my number, Come on, one more.
One more. Do you know what? I think the best invention of the world is a Pet Savers heat pad. You plug it in, leave it on. It doesn't go higher than 38 degrees. It can mold to a bed shape. Ebony has 2 of them. She absolutely loves them. My cat loves them.
Rosemary McDuff, when you hear this, please put it on our list of things that we need to put in the shop.
Yeah, they're just. There's other brands available, but some of them now don't say if they're 38 degrees limited. So it means.
And what brand is it? Say again.
BSAVA Pet Savers.
BSAVA. Cool. Okay. Number one for me is please support Cam. Use things like this. The whole intention of this world of stuff is that we're trying to spread the word. We're trying to help owners identify this disease earlier. We need people to understand that catching arthritis really early means that your dog's going to have a better quality of life for longer. It's important. We worm, we flea treat, we vaccinate, we neuter, we ask for the best food. We do all of these things. We do hobbies, we buy coats, we buy amazing dog beds. And we seem to have completely forgotten this area, the fifth vital sign, pain. We need to be really aware about this disease. We need to talk about it a lot earlier in your dog's life so that people are ready to identify it and do something about it, because it is the biggest reason we euthanize dogs. It's the biggest reason that we electively euthanize dogs. That's pretty important to try and do something about it. So talk about it, get the logo out there, get the bandanas, talk about it. So, anything you want to add, Jane?
I'm going to finish with the 2 Fs. Often people don't come to the vets because they're fearful. They're frightened of being told something bad, or they're worried about finances. We understand both of those. Now, Ebony's my 3rd peak. They've all had awful joints. I've had to manage their pain all the way along. And because of fear, I nearly didn't get Ebony. And yet she's the most wonderful thing in the world, and she's my entire life right now, and a real reason for living while I'm having quite a difficult time in many ways, not just because I'm doing a PhD. So sometimes, do you know what?
I'm doing a PhD.
Feel the fear, but accept that that's part of the emotional part of caring for something. If you didn't care and love your dog, you wouldn't feel frightened. So being frightened about going to the vets, actually go to the vets and say, I'm frightened something's wrong. And that's okay. We are used to people being frightened. We're used to people being fearful because this is our world, and you come into it with one of the things that's most precious to you in the world. And we're going to do our best to make sure that that animal is really well cared for. But we have to tell us what it is that's frightening you. And those small changes, you know, they're the ones we want you to watch out for. And a lot of this, an acupuncture appointment is ridiculously cheap. You know, a lot of these complementary therapies that people think are really pricey are actually cheaper than going to have a vet consult.
Yeah. But I think a big thing for me is if your practice doesn't provide what you're needing, tell them. And I know that sounds daft. I think us English, we're really inhibited about ever complaining. I had the worst dinner the other day. I went, oh yeah, it was lovely, thanks. And we all do this thing where we don't flag it up, but that practice will never be able to get better at what they do if they don't know what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
So if you're not receiving a service that you need, just write them an email. You don't even need to be there face to face. Write them an email, give them a phone call, and just say, I turned up with my dog. I was really, really worried, and I really want you to know that I think you could have done better. And I feel that you can. I like you. I like the practice. I've had brilliant 20 years with you. Please don't be scared to say something. Oh my God, we could talk forever, but beer is calling.
Wow.
I know. Well, thank you, Jane. You are a wizard. You're an absolute.
Say that I love that this exists. I love that we can talk to clients about it. And I love that I can say to people, look at canine arthritis management and you will get good, practical, not crazy help. And that there's a team of people there. And that we're talking about arthritis as the serious thing it is, but we're also making it manageable because the two don't often go hand in hand. that something scary is often not manageable, and yet arthritis is absolutely 110% manageable.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about it. We need to face our fear that something bad's going on and then get out the other side.
Yeah, totally agree. And thank you to the whole CAM team. There's an amazing team of people that do this. Then the CAM team advisors, and then there is the CAM ambassadors, and then there's the CAM support staff. There's about 30 to 40 people. No, probably more, 50 odd people making this happen. Got a new YouTube channel. Amanda Thomas has just popped up. She's amazing at the YouTube channel. Linda Cook is there managing the CAM ambassadors. Rosemary McDonough, I can't say your so wrong. She's sorting out a shop. You know, we have got a massive team of people making this happen. So thank you. You are all very awesome. Until next week, thank you, Jane. You're great.
Thank you. You're a star. And thank you from Ebony.
Cool. See you later, guys.